is Carly, and welcome back to my channel where I play with inks, I write my books, and do other fun stationery stuff. And I saw lots of people doing their mid-year check-in for how it's going in their journals, and I have a few updates for mine as well, so I thought I'd jump on the wagon and just, join in. You see, there's like a big pile of stuff here on my desk, and I'm going to get to them in order. I think I'm going to start with the proper journals. So my main journals are these two. These are both basically in this Alsa Crafts cover. Is a Leuchtturm A6 pocket. This one is an orange one. And I'm nearing, get a bit of entangling. I'm nearing the end, so very soon I'm going to switch into my next one, and that's actually the last A6 that I have here, so I will have to order some more. For some reason, I always need sort of the next one while I'm starting off on one, because at the moment I'm writing quite a lot. But the difference between those two is this is a Leuchtturm 26 planner, like a daily planner with dot grid pages, which is pretty open. And at first I had planned for this to be more of a, just more of a free flow thing. It turned out a bit differently, but I'm quite happy because that means that these two are quite different in what I'm doing with them. This is an everyday carry. You see, it's sort of, I have this beautiful cover on it, but it's starting to get slightly grubby. And this does not, I'm collecting like flowers and weird bits in it. But I don't really use a few. This is one of my book characters that I commissioned artwork for. But usually I don't put any stickers in here. Bits might end up in here, but it's not really for that. Because this is much more of a brainstorming, sort of I use different colored inks, but it doesn't need to be aesthetic. It's more about like getting something down on paper, just brainstorming for manuscripts and what's happening in the moment. While the big one, and I tend to write in this during the day, and the big one is much more sitting down of an evening and doing a page. In the beginning, I thought I would do multiple pages. This is why I thought they were sort of like evening pages instead of morning pages, but this changed. So in the beginning, I did like many more, like 1-2 pages for one day, which is I bought this planner when they were reduced, because I thought I would just use it as free-flowing without paying attention to the dates. But then it turned out that I actually quite like doing, like, not as beautiful as those spreads are, doing a page a day with a very different aesthetic. Sometimes they match up, sometimes they are a bit more like different. But yeah, so this turned out to be a place where I play with washi and stickers, and just different styles. So these two turned out quite different, which I'm really pleased about. So at the moment, this is definitely a daily practice. This usually, but not necessarily. So, and as I said, this is going to be the replacement once I'm finished with those. Then, let me go to my reading journal. This was something that is like a pre-printed book that a friend of mine gifted me for my birthday, which was, and I think Christmas together, which is a really lovely thought. The only thing is that there are so many sections in this book that I don't really use. There are a few things that I like to use, so it's basically you have like a full page. I don't tend to print out my book covers, so it always looks a bit sad. And so yeah, there's sort of what I really enjoy is the genre tracker. You see, it's in German. But I haven't really used this section. This I really enjoy, so where you basically fill in how many books you're reading per month. And sort of this listing is about, okay, I don't really need it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this journal this year, and then I'm going to move into a notebook that I set up with the things that I need or that I use in here. So basically like the page you fill out stuff and that little page. But this is a bit too rigid for me. But it's the first time that I'm experiencing this kind of notebook. And it's pretty good paper. You can write with fountain pens in here. So yeah, that's the reading journal. That's also going to get an upgrade pretty soon. Then here I have my commonplace notebook, which is one that I found on sale in my local TJ Maxx, and that has a grid that I use either lined or dot grid, sometimes blank, but a grid is usually not what I'm going for. But because I found it on like an offer I couldn't refuse, I thought it might be good to turn it into a commonplace notebook. And so far, yeah, I've used it. I'm involved with a sort of like a creation hub at the moment. So every session, this is the book that I'm using for my notes. And because it's red, sort of signaling color, it stands out really well. And this is great. So I'm still using it, but it's not an everyday use. Then let's get to the fun part. Inks. So I started off the year with this ink journal. I tabbed the currently inks that I put in here. In the beginning, I did a lot of more play in here, and then I literally only used it for currently inks and sort of videos. But I have a few more pages, but I started because sometimes I want some. This is a softcover Leuchtturm notebook, and sometimes I want some Leuchtturm paper to use for swatches. So I decided, and the last pages in Leuchtturm book are always perforated, so you can actually take those out. So I decided to stop using it and move for June, move into this ink journal, which is a blank Hobonichi notebook with Tomoe River paper, and that worked out really well. So at the moment I'm doing any sort of ink explorations, any currently inks are in here. Yeah, and I think that will probably last me well into next year, because at the moment I'm really only using it for this purpose. But I've also really thought about what to do for ink cataloging, because I think I'm getting to the amount of inks now where I need some sort of system. I have a digital spreadsheet, but that does not tell me anything about color. So what I did was that I ordered, it's basically a traveler size trifold cover, and I ordered it from Etsy, from Lost and Found here in the UK. I always try to stay local when I can. And what I did, it came with 3 inserts and this amazing pocket. I didn't realize it came with this pocket. So I actually thought, oh, I might have to get one, but it was included, so amazing. And then I added an insert from the Inked Paw, which is like a stationery shop that I saw at the Cheltenham Pen Show, and I bought this insert. It's a dot grid insert on their special paper. It's a bit thicker, and very enthusiastically I stamped out with this little guy and this lovely ink. I stamped out places, so the whole notebook has, I mean, it's not very regular, but sort of you get the point. What I'm waiting on now is a replacement glass nib, because this one is very thick and I want something thinner otherwise it's going to be a mess. So, and then I can start. And I think what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to be filming it. I think I'm still, even though it is sort of not like a ring binder, but it is, so I can't take out pages, can't swap them, can't really add easily to them. I think I'm still going to do color families. I'm still thinking about getting one of those monthly inserts and then doing like the 4 color family on one page. So that might be something that is coming too. But as you can see, I stamped. It took quite a long time. I think it almost took an hour to finish the whole book. But yeah, I think I really want to think about this, and like for companies, it doesn't really make sense. It makes sense to do it by color, even though what I probably try to do is divide it in a way that I have a few empty spots at the end of each section. Might not work out, and then start. I think I calculated that I have about 96 spots in this book for inks. And once these are filled, I just need to switch to something where I'm just cataloging what comes in, and at some point I might think about doing like a ring system or something, but for now I think the simpler the better. So that's what I'm going for. This came set with 3 inserts, and I chose the dragonfly charm for it because I've always been quite fascinated by dragonflies, and the lake I'm swimming in, there are loads and loads of dragonflies around, and I bought this from Etsy. It's a little cat in a teacup, which is just very, very sweet. I've actually just cracked and ordered the passport size for this as well, because I might be able to move my leuchtturms into it. I think that might fit. So yeah, just because I really love the quality of this leather cover. I think the color is called walnut, and the smaller cover is a bit lighter, I think called chestnut. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, but I just ordered it basically yesterday, so that might take a while to come to me. It's quite thin at the moment, but I think that's fine. I actually quite enjoy that, and it will thicken up with time. And then obviously the bonus is that you can switch out the inserts, and I'm just very fascinated by the system. I didn't want to go for Traveler's Company, and also I quite like the idea of the trifold, so you don't have exposed edges, so you can actually maybe put a pen loop in here and keep a pen tucked in. But this is sort of the next step for my ink cataloging system. Speaking of fun stuff, this is something, I think, because everyone saw these pictures of postage size stamps, and I really love the idea, especially as I like collecting scraps. So I started on the 1st of May, and so far I haven't missed a day. And it's lots of time, it's sort of food wrappers, or this is toilet paper, lots of, this is salt. This is from a Leuchtturm book. There we were in Wales, so yeah, hay fever tablets. So yeah, I just like, it makes me look at packaging in a different way, and this is why I started that, and I really like the outcome of it. This is what my toothbrush. So this has been a really fun exercise, just every day. I have a few sort of saved up in case I don't find something on that day. This is just a very old notebook because I didn't know whether I wanted to continue it. I just put some wrapping paper around it because it was quite faded from the sun. But yeah, this is just like a very fun exercise that I do every day. And now to the last bits, it's the manuscripts. So earlier this year I set up this manuscript. I think when I got my Twisby root beer, I thought, yes, that will fit very well. I started writing it. I did, for this one, I basically switched the ink color and the pen after every spread. I since started typing up some of the manuscripts that I did in this way, and it's actually not that easy because it pulls me out of the thing and the color changes all the time. So this manuscript for now I've put aside, not because of that, but because I had a different idea that I'm working with, the creative, the creation hub that I'm working with at the moment. And this is my big manuscript where I made the decision. I have like my last video should be like basically me giving an update on this one. But yeah, I'm only using purple and grey ink in here. That's the idea. But yeah, it's one of the it's another Leuchtturm 2026 planner that I've bought for half price when I think in March, and then I'm using as a manuscript notebook, and that actually works out pretty well. And it's starting to get a bit grubby as well because I'm taking it with me everywhere I go. So yeah, for the moment I've abandoned this little guy. I might pick it up back up. I have a tendency not to do that once I set a manuscript aside, but because of for this one, I didn't write, I think I went to 8 chapters or something. So actually it wouldn't be too much of a chore to pick it back up, to just type up the first chapters in it and get back into the story. While if I basically have another manuscript that I must be at sort of 100,000 words with that one, and then I put it aside, and I don't see myself picking it back up in a hurry. I think that's sort of one of the pitfalls of getting distracted by new ideas. But yeah, so this is my big manuscript at the moment. So you see lots of notebooks and more joining. I really have a problem with sort of, you see a lovely new notebook and then you get an idea for, oh, this could be this could be that. And I'm trying not to splinter too much. And there are some things that I don't track deliberately because I have a history of getting really hung up on numbers and basically ruining my life with being fixated on rules that don't really mean much. So I'm deliberately trying not to do stuff like a health tracker or a sleep tracker or something, because that I get too fixated. So the journals are much looser, more flowing, and And I want to basically don't I don't want to hang on to the reins as like tight-fisted as I can. I want to sort of have a much more flexible approach. That is how I hope I can do it without, falling back into old habits. But I still have an awful lot of journals that I'm keeping, nevertheless. But yeah, so I also don't track any other media than my books, to be honest. And I don't know whether I would have started that if I had been given the reading journal in the first place. But it's something that I quite enjoy, and I think it makes sense. I will probably use like a slightly smaller notebook for it. We'll see. But thank you so much for being here and for listening to me rambling on about my particular system. Let me know how yours is going. How are you feeling? Are you quite content, and how are you dealing with your journals? Has much changed? For example, I threw out, I had a little weekly planner. That I wanted to use for social media planning and for all my events and stuff, but that did not work out. I just for things like this, I use my phone calendar because I can set reminders and alarms and stuff, so that's much easier for me with my ADHD brain. I was diagnosed with ADHD late last year. And I've been really trying to find things that work with the way that I think, because lots of the old workarounds, the older I get, they don't really work anymore. So yeah, I'm just trying my best to hang on to sanity, to be honest. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.